Hello, welcome. Welcome to my home. My name is Jean, and this is Bye Bye Loneliness Chat and Collage. So in video number 25, I believe this will be video number 26 right now, we're working on this collage. And it's on a card, a freebie card I got in the mail that I'm reusing. And it had some words inside, so I found another image and glue sticked it on the inside to cover those words. And you still have plenty of room to write up here. But I did find myself in trouble. I did not cut out the background first to make sure it fit on the card. And this image here of the woman walking on, initially she was fully on, her whole body, and I had to figure out what to do. I had actually glue sticked her on, so I had to get her off and then move her. So that's what happens. So that's just a tip. Make sure you cut out your background first, that it fits onto the card before you start putting your images on. And it has a card, and that's done. It's all signed and ready to go. And then I have a little poem for you today. It's called Pay Attention. And I wrote this a long time ago. I don't know, maybe even 20 years ago. It was a mistake or a happy accident that the bag of yellow and pink flower bulbs contained one blue iris. Blue, like the thick eyeshadow my 13-year-old wears. Every morning, I look through the kitchen window at this flower, hypnotized by its tender petals glistening in singularity and brilliance. Today, it speaks to me. Pay attention. My hand squeezed the mug of coffee. It is too early to have the vast awareness of a blue sky, elaborate thoughts on what to wear, and the busy day ahead evaporate within the booming voice of the bursting bloom. You need to be at the door. Pay attention. Your blue-eyed daughter is stepping away. I know. And what was interesting about this poem, I wrote it in a class, and it's not true. I do not have children. Do not have a daughter. None of this happened. And the students in the class were like, what? I thought poetry was supposed to be true. But the teacher said nope. But they said they could really relate. So I was able to get that feeling across, even though I had never experienced it myself. So, ta-da! So a couple things I wanted to talk about. Well, first I want to show you what I figured out this week. There is something called QR codes, and we see them all over the place, right? These things. And I have never used them, and I never understood how the heck these things would work. But when I sent 5 cards out to the Love Our Elders this week, and I thought I should put a card in there for the granddaughter or grandson or whoever was the nominated, person who nominated their grandparent or friend. And so they could come and join us in our community here. And so I figured it out, and I actually put one of my thumbnails and wrote a couple things and wrote a little bit on the back, and I felt like a genius. A friend of mine did this. She was taking a walk with her dog, and she was, I guess, messaging me, and because I was telling her I was going to try and figure out how, do this with the QR code. And this is what she did when she was walking her dog. She's 45. I'm not. And I have no idea how she did that. So I just made up my own. All right. Then, before we get started on the collage, I just wanted to show you kind of what I do. I had a National Geographic magazine, and I was just sitting here one day, and I just tore out certain pictures, and that's what I do. I like the rocks, the stones, Stonehenge, because I thought I can use those. More rocks. And then the cover, maybe I'll use that, the clouds, but also because the cover is thicker paper, I can glue stick down my images onto that more and more. So this is kind of what I do. You know, I get a stack of these and I put them aside and decide, you know, it's fun to do that. To me, it's fun to do that. So get yourself comfortable. I have a pillow behind my back as usual, and I will readjust as we're here. Excuse me. Water, and it's time to tilt the camera down. All right, let's figure this out. And as usual, I try and get it on the first get-go. But I hardly ever do. Now, I have to be able to see this too. Okay. All right, here we are. I can move everything this way. So, here's the card from one of my freebie cards, Thoughtful Connections, that we're going to use. And I picked out a bunch of images. And you might be wondering, you know, oh, I get this all done and it's easy peasy. Let me show you. I want to show you all these images. You know, I have tons and tons of images that I look through. Tons and tons. And what I often do is I start fresh. I'll get out a magazine and just start fresh and not even use any of these. So, you know, the image of myself, and I just take that out as a reminder that if you have images of people in your family that you might want to put on your collage, that's always fun. So here are some that I started with, and I decided to use the card horizontally. And let me move these images off. So I found this image, I think probably in a travel magazine, and this image of a person walking on a path. You know what? I'm going to switch this so I don't have to reach over so far. Okay, right. Yeah, you can see. And also, this image. So that's what I came up with for my background. And I wanted to do more of this with you so you can kind of see what's going on. So, and did I measure it? Right, just what we were talking about. So the best thing for me to do right now is to glue stick this part down and cut off the parts I don't want, so I don't put images way on the edges that won't fit onto this card. Oh, another story I wanted to tell you. Where's my little cheat sheet over here? Okay. I wanted, you know, I think this is I think, you can tell me what you think in the comments, but I think my videos are nice for people 65 and older, and maybe people in retirement communities or assisted living. People have told me they're easy to watch. They like that I smile and I goof around, make funny faces. And if you know anybody that might be in that situation that would enjoy my videos, let them know. I just like people to be able to to find these if they'd be helpful. Aha, see? Lots of edge off, and I almost missed that again. So cut this off. And sometimes there's a picture on the other side that I like too. And I'm like, Now I can cut this off, the bottom part of the card, but I don't have to, because I think images are going to cover up the bottom part of the card because this didn't fit on. Excuse me, totally. So, all right. So then that goes on. Then that goes on here, like that, or like that. And this is what I was doing the other night. So I found a picture of this woman. So I'm going to put her there and block off that person. And then I found a picture of someone rowing in a kayak or something. So I'll put him there. So that way we won't have those images of those people who I don't know. And then we have these girls walking on this path. And there's another path up here for these girls to be walking on. So everyone's got some movement going. And then I found this image of these type of monkeys, or this could be kind of fun. So I'm not quite all the way decided. I even decided at one point, I thought, well, I'll put this panda bear here. And that might still happen. So it's all like trying this, trying that. What do you like? What do you don't like? Somebody over here could be sitting. That's kind of nice too. So I may not have made all my final decisions yet. I thought this guy was going to work really well here, but he didn't quite, I don't know, just a little bit too big. And because I have a printer and I have a color printer, if I wanted to, I could take a picture of this and make it smaller and make it fit on there. So if you have a color printer, it can come in handy. That friend of mine who was helping me with the QR code and making a little sort of business card, when she heard me say that on one of my other videos, one of the first videos, she was like, what? She ran out. She told her friend, she ran out and got a color printer. It didn't even dawn on her. And she's got a PhD. So yeah. Are we going? Are we filming? Okay. Yeah. All right. So we have all these options. I kind of like that leopard there. And that woman could be there. I like the different sizes that they are. That appeals to me. So that is that. What I'll do is I'll put on the background now. Set these aside. I'm going to have to think about them a little bit more because I might change my mind. And that's what you can do when you make collages. So get out the glue stick and open this up. And I had been telling you at the last video about when I bought my house in a small town here. It was back in 1990, I think it was. And it was March, and there was some snow on the ground. It was cold. It was the middle of the week when I had to move for some reason. And friends were helping me, but nobody stayed. And there I was in a house, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this house. I don't know how it works. Anyway, what else happened with that house, I don't want to retell the whole story, is that my dad sent me in the mail a whole, like 10, they just looked like twigs to me. They were 10 fruit trees, and they just looked like twigs, and they came in the mail. And I called and I said, what is this? And he goes, they're fruit trees for your backyard. Just dig a hole and put them in. So I looked at the directions and it said I had to dig a hole 2 feet in diameter and 2 feet deep. 10? I'm like, no way, I can't do this. You know what, I did do one. This was back in the day. 1990 was a lot of years ago, I was younger. But it was really hard. So I was telling my boss at work about it, and he goes, well, get some of the students to help you. Because I was working at a university then. And they didn't want to, but he was their advisor. They were PhD candidates, so they ended up doing it. Came over. And my boss was so old school. He was like, you know, feed them sandwiches or something. They'll be good. I'm going to tilt this back up. And they did, they did it. They got all the trees planted. I don't think I ever had any fruit come of it. But that's my story for today. And we're only at 16 minutes. So I'm kind of happy about that because I think I chat too much and I keep you too long most of the time. And, but I'm so glad you came. You know what my brother said that was so nice when I sent him my videos to see what he thought, because his daughter-in-law does videos. She speaks Spanish and they live in Japan, and I don't know, she's got a big, huge following. But he said he thought they were really nice. It reminded him of Mr. Rogers. So I'm trying to remember to look at you, to look into the lens, so you understand how much I appreciate that you are here and we can chat and not feel so lonely and show you some collages and my process. And I'm so glad you came. And this is video number 26, I think. And I'll see you next time. Bye.